Welcome to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast, your weekly news roundup of hunting, fishing, trapping, and conservation stories from around the Gem State. Hosted by Fish and Game's Public Information Specialist, Connor J. Lease.
Happy Thanksgiving, boys and girls, and welcome back to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin podcast. Lots to talk about today, including the December 10th non-resident deer and elk tag sale, a closure on the Boise River WMA, and a wildlife crime story in Bonneville County. But first, if you're itching to get back to the woods this winter and want to fill every single inch of your deep freezer, here are 3 small game species that are fun to hunt and easy on the taste buds. Small game hunting through winter is a great way for hunters young and old to develop their skills and confidence without breaking the bank. You don't need specialized or expensive gear to hunt them, just a .22 long rifle and/or any shotgun, warm clothes, and boots suitable for hiking. The skills learned while small game hunting, including tracking, handling a firearm, field dressing, and cooking the animals you harvest, harken back to the early days of the sport and later translate directly to big game hunting. In particular, learning to process and clean small game helps new hunters understand the basics of field dressing before they move to larger game. Seeing the woodlands blanketed in snow and pocked with fresh game tracks is like following a treasure map, and instilling in these young minds the habits and patterns of various small game species is a great way to connect youth hunters to the land, to animals, and to hunting. Here are 3 of the most commonly found and exciting small game species to hunt this winter, starting with red squirrels. They were barking at you all fall. You're tiptoeing into elk country when all of a sudden a Douglas fir starts chirping excitedly at your unwelcomed arrival. The resident red squirrel living on the 5th floor of that lodgepole provides both veteran and rookie hunters an excellent opportunity to extend their hunting season. Red, or pine squirrels, not to be confused with their larger cousins fox squirrels, which are also reddish in color, are native to Idaho and have a wide distribution. As most big game hunters will attest, they are active during the day, stockpiling seeds, conifer cones, nuts, and fruits before winter snow buries the forest floor. Because of their diet, we are what we eat, after all, red squirrels have an earthy, almost nutty flavor, pun intended. If you're lucky enough to bag a couple of red squirrels this season, try any number of crock-pot recipes. Squirrels can be lean and tough and are best broken down slow cooker style as a hearty addition for soups, stews, or tacos, or even sauteed in butter and herbs. Next up, we got forest grouse. Forest grouse are crafty, clever mid-sized birds that inhabit much of the state's forests. Commonly found on public lands, they provide a hunting opportunity for nearly anyone. There are 3 species of forest grouse in Idaho, all of which are native to the state, including the dusky or blue grouse, the ruffed grouse, and spruce grouse. Grouse have an uncanny knack for bursting out of a tree roost when a hunter comes too close, oftentimes giving the hunter a near heart attack. However, these birds will sometimes ignore humans altogether as you creep in for a close shot. Depending on your preference, you can either attempt to shoot flushing grouse on the wing with a shotgun or stationary grouse in the trees with a small caliber rifle. An important reminder that grouse hunters need to leave one wing attached to the carcass during transport. Once plucked, de-winged, and ready to process, hunters can serve up the breast and thighs a number of ways, including sauteed in butter and thyme in a skillet or dusted in flour and deep fried. Last up, we got rabbits and hares. Few hunting experiences rival winter rabbit and snowshoe hare hunting. The trees are stripped bare and the air is crisp and silent. Hunting for these species is an incredible way to introduce youth hunters to the sport. Sure, it's 25 degrees and the thermos of hot chocolate back of the truck sounds pretty darn nice, but following the tracks and habits of wintering small game species is a fun way to get family and friends outside. Seeking out rabbits and hares can also be an inexpensive way to introduce youth to hunting and field dressing. This time of year, you'll need to have a sharp eye as rabbits and hares are notoriously nimble, often found in thick brush, thorn bushes, and fallen pine boughs. One option is for hunters to find a high point overlooking a relatively clear area and hunt with a scoped, small caliber rifle, keeping an eye on openings near cover. Another is for hunters to attempt to flush out rabbits by walking through areas of dense cover and to harvest them on the run using a shotgun. If using the latter approach, it's not a bad idea to hunt with a friend or two, which will help you cover more territory and potentially flush more rabbits. A dog may also count as a friend. If you or your budding hunter are quick enough to bag one this season, you'll find that rabbits and hares are among the easiest to skin in the field. After removing the feet at the ankle knuckle, make a small incision up the back of each hind leg. Pull the skin of each leg towards its pelvis, then continue pulling the hide towards the head down the midsection as if you were taking its sweater off. Once cleaned and quartered, rabbits can make an excellent addition to stews and roasts or even deep fried. Whether you're new to hunting or a longtime veteran, hunting for small game can be an exciting way to keep your marksmanship sharp and your freezer full during the colder months. Remember, hunters, you will need a 2025 hunting license beginning on January 1st. For more information on upland game and small game seasons and regulations, check out the 2024 through 2025 Fish and Game, Upland Game, Turkey, and Fur Bearer Seasons and Rules booklet, available online or at authorized licensed vendors. All right, time to talk about this year's non-resident deer and elk tag sale. The sale for 2025 non-resident deer and elk tags will be held on December 10th this year. The change is intended to allow residents to conveniently buy licenses and permits in early December, ensure auto-renew transactions can be processed in a timely manner, and provide better customer service to all buyers. However, due to high volumes of online sales throughout the month of December, printing and mailing of tags will take longer than usual. To ensure hunters and anglers get their permits and tags that are needed in January, online sales for those tags will be unavailable, and buyers will need to purchase in person at a Fish and Game office or a licensed vendor location. Non-resident regular deer, white-tailed deer, and elk tags go on sale December 10th, beginning at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Licenses and tags can be bought online at gooutdoorsidaho.com, through the Idaho Fish and Game mobile apps for iOS and Android, or by phone at 1-800-554-8685. They can also be bought in person at licensed vendors, locations, or Fish and Game regional offices during normal business hours. Non-resident hunters wishing to buy a tag online or on their mobile device need to log in to their online account at gooutdoorsidaho.com just before 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Hunters will be placed in an online virtual waiting room prior to 10 a.m. and then randomly assigned a place in line right at 10 a.m. Anyone logging in after 10 a.m. will be placed at the back of the line. Once your place in line has been reached, only unsold remaining tags will be displayed for purchase. Hunters should have their primary and backup choice of hunts ready. Make sure to review the Big Game Seasons and Rules booklet to ensure you know which hunts you are wanting to purchase. For online users, only one deer tag and one elk tag may be purchased for the person that is logged in. To purchase tags for another hunter online, you must return to the virtual line. Tags may be purchased for another person by phone, at a Fish and Game office, or a licensed vendor location. For in-person sales at Fish and Game offices, customers will be served on a first-come, first-served basis. Anyone, including outfitters wishing to purchase for 5 or more individuals at a Fish and Game office, must use the designated high-volume terminal that will be identified at each office. Prospective non-resident tag buyers should contact the licensed vendor or individual Fish and Game office for specific sales day information, including hours of operation, camping restrictions, sales process, specific sales rules, line management, and etc. Non-resident hunters purchasing over the phone should also call 1-800-554-8685 at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Callers on the line before 10 a.m. will be asked to hang up and call back again at 10 a.m. Callers can remain on the line and hold, or may request a callback using the prompts provided. After the initial statewide limits of non-resident deer tags sell out, there will be another sale for reserved whitetail deer tags on March 20th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Now, quick little important note here. Items purchased online during the sale will not be mailed and delivered until mid to late January or even later due to the volume of licenses and tags being sold online that require delivery. Okay, important reminder, don't use multiple devices in the waiting room. Customers should log on using only one device for sale and plan to stay on that device throughout the entire transaction. Logging in through multiple devices can lead to system slowdowns and does not create any advantage whatsoever, since only one place in line can be used to purchase tags. Switching devices such as a laptop or desktop computer to a smartphone could result in losing your place in line. Now, hunters, if you plan on hunting in December and January, make sure to buy your tags in person. After December 9th, non-resident bear, wolf, mountain lion, steelhead permits for 2024 seasons will not be sold online. Steelhead e-tags are still available, by the way. Residents are also encouraged to buy in person at vendors or fishing game offices. And starting on December 10th, all non-resident notchable tags for bear, mountain lion, and wolf for the 2024 and 2025 season will only be available at vendor locations. Those tags normally require 7 to 10 business days for delivery, and due to high volume of other licenses and tag sales, they would not be delivered before the end of the year. Now, as for residents, be sure to buy your licenses and tags before or after December 10th. Residents can purchase their 2025 licenses, tags, and permits, excluding deer and elk, starting on December 1st. However, resident products will not be available on December 10th through online or telephone purchases because of the high volume of the non-resident sale. Resident licenses, tags, and permits will still be available on December 10th at vendor locations and fishing game offices, but you're probably maybe going to experience long wait times. I tried to cover all the high points, but this is a really complex topic. So if you're still a little hazy about how this year's December 10th tag sale is going to work, head on over to our website or hit the link in the description to read this article in full. As always, our customer service staff are just a phone call away and should be able to answer any questions you may have. Now, while we're on the topic of licenses, here's some important information for all you steelhead and salmon anglers heading into the new year. For anglers wanting to buy a paper salmon and steelhead permit for late 2024 or using in early 2025, will need to do so in person at a fishing game office or licensed vendor location after December 9th. E-tags for steelhead and salmon can be bought online at any time. Anglers can also buy the e-tag online through the Go Outdoors Idaho app or at gooutdoorsidaho.com. Again, due to high volumes of tag sales throughout December, printing and mailing of tags may not arrive until February. So, to ensure anglers get their permits needed for December and January, online sales will be limited to e-tags, and after December 9th, paper permits for steelhead will only be available at fishing game offices and licensed vendors. Implemented back in April of 2024, Idaho Fish and Game's e-tagging system allows anglers to validate their salmon or steelhead permit through the Go Outdoors Idaho mobile app. To learn more about salmon and steelhead e-tagging, check out Fish and Game's e-tagging webpage or head back to episode 36 of the Hook and Bulletin, where we sit down with Anadromous Fisheries Coordinator Chris Sullivan and Tara Reichert, Fish and Game's License Operations Manager. I'll be sure to include a link for both in the description below. Okay, for this final major story, we're heading back to the Boise River WMA for some unfortunate news. Fish and Game announced on Tuesday, November 19th, that the portion of the Boise Front segment of the Boise River WMA west of Highway 21 will remain closed to all human entry through March 31st, when deer and elk begin migrating out of the area next spring. The closure will benefit wintering big game and accommodate rehabilitation efforts following the Valley Fire, which I've talked about pretty extensively on this podcast. The portion of the WMA was among the nearly 10,000 acres that burned in the Valley Fire, and it serves as critical winter range for roughly 2,400 mule deer and 650 elk. In a normal year, winter can be hard on deer and elk, especially fawns and calves. Even under normal conditions, added stressors like encountering hikers, dog walkers, and other recreationists reduces a deer or elk's ability to maintain good body condition. With less forage on the landscape this year, deer and elk in the burn area are even more susceptible to starvation and more vulnerable to stress from human interactions, given that people can be seen from a greater distance and escape cover is a long way away. The Boise Front segment is popular with upland bird hunters and later in the winter, shed antler hunters, in addition to seeing use during a late season controlled deer hunt. But the Boise Front segment is also home to foothills trails that are popular for other outdoor recreationists, and the decision to close this portion of the WMA through the winter will require these users to find a new place to recreate. Here's Regional Communications Manager Brian Pearson.
We understand that people love using this part of the Boise River WMA during the winter for a variety of purposes, and we appreciate that we have broad community support for the WMA. We certainly want that to continue, but in the short term, closing the burn area to human entry is the best thing for the landscape and the animals. This fire's aftermath has real impacts to the survival of big game species that depend on it for winter groceries. Because of that, whatever we can do to keep winter disturbance of these animals to a minimum is simply the right thing to do for them.
For more on this story, check out Brian Pearson's press release on our website. Link below. And with that, it's time for the Rapid Fire Bulletin. As you can probably tell, fires wreaked havoc all over the southwest region this summer and fall. On Tuesday, December 3rd, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., our Southwest Regional staff will be hosting a public meeting in Garden Valley to discuss the impacts of this year's fires on big game herds in the sawtooth units. The meeting will be held at Garden Valley High School at 1053 Banks-Loman Road. U.S. Forest Service staff will also be present to talk about the fires and post-fire rehabilitation efforts. After Fish and Game staff provides a few brief presentations, they will be available to answer any questions and hear concerns from you guys. Over in the Upper Snake region, staff are seeking the public's help in gathering information about a large number of ducks that were recently shot and left to waste on Pine Creek Pass in Bonneville County. On November 12th, Fish and Game conservation officers were made aware of 43 ducks that had been dumped just off the Upper Rainy Creek Road, approximately 1/2 mile from State Highway 31 at the top of Pine Creek Pass in Unit 67. Most of the ducks were still whole and unfrozen, leading officers to believe they were dumped earlier that same day. If anyone has information about these ducks that were left to waste, please call the Upper Snake Regional Office at 208-525-7290 or the Citizens Against Poaching hotline at 1-800-632-5999. After repeated incidents of accessing unsecured residential garbage, a yearling black bear was euthanized north of Haley on Thursday, November 14th. The young male that had weighed approximately 100 pounds had twice broken into a garage to find food, and there were signs of the bear attempting to get into the house. Since the bear was showing increasingly aggressive behavior, the decision was made to trap and euthanize the bear to protect public safety. For more information about how to keep bears wild, visit the Wood River Valley Wildlife Smart Communities website or call our Magic Valley Regional Office at 208-324-4359. Boise's MK Nature Center will host its 18th annual bird seed sale on December 6 and 7 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Proceeds from this event benefit educational programs and day-to-day operations at the Nature Center. The MK Nature Center gift shop will have many nature-themed holiday items for purchase, so come check out these items for the nature lover on your holiday gift list. Okay, that's it for this week's stories. It's time for our question of the week. This week's question comes to us from Josh H. Josh asks, was the Boise River WMA archery range destroyed by the Valley Fire? Hey Josh, thanks for reaching out. Unfortunately, the archery range did burn up in the fire. Several targets did survive, but the fire burned pretty hot through there. Hope this helps. That's all the news we have for this week. Thanks for putting an ear to Idaho Fish and Game's Hook and Bulletin. If there's something on your mind, or if you got a question related to fish and game matters, feel free to drop us a line at podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Again, that's podcast@idfg.idaho.gov. Thanks for listening, folks. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll catch you next week.